Hello and welcome to video number 16. This is me learning how to use the AKAI MPC Live 3 and passing on to you all my tips and tricks as I do so. Today's video is going to concentrate on an area that is not often seen on YouTube videos, and that is the list edit. So if I press menu and I press list edit over here, and it brings up this view here. So this gives you a tracker style view of a track like the Poly-N tracker or the Dirty Wave M8, and I own both of those and they're both brilliant machines. And you can view and edit your track in an almost forensic way with this view. Of course, any changes you make here will be reflected in other views like the arrange page or the grid page, so obviously be careful what you're doing as always. Of course, if you're on the arrange page you can press list there. If you're on the grid page, you can also press list there to go to it. So I'm going to go to the main page. Got the drum kit, that's good. I'm going to solo this. Often a good idea when you're working on something is to solo it. Let's go to that list view again, that list edit page. So this is the drum kit we're looking at here. This is the drum part. This. You see the bar beats and ticks going across there. You can see the progress bar. That's good. So at the top from left to right we can see the shortcuts to the arrange page, the grid page, the clip matrix. Obviously the list is in red because that's where we are now. Here we've got the bar beats and ticks. I could double press that, take me to the locators page. Then I've got timing correct page here. You see that all over the place, the quantizing. And then the view page. Here we're seeing all events, so we've got all the aftertouch, the notes, but if I go to notes, we only see the notes, and that's the view I'm going to suggest you start with because it's much easier to deal with. Then comes the automation read write, so that's read, that's write. Not going to be dealing with that today. Then this menu here is the note modifier settings. I'm not going to mess around with that today again. And the cogwheel, this is the list edit settings, so the settings specifically for this page. And again, I don't need to change that, I'm just going to leave that as it is for the moment. At the foot of the page you will find various tabs. We've got events, that's what we're set to. We've got tempo, insert, you can change things there, not going to do that. Delete, obviously if you can delete something in the list, and nudge, you can nudge things over. Just leave it on events for the moment. By the way, there's no change in these tabs down the bottom if you hold shift like you get in some of the views. You can see here next to delete there's a play button. So if I go to a note like this one here and press play, we can hear that kick drum. Down here there's an A03, which is a different note, hi-hat. This is going to be a snare. You can actually hear the sound. So if I just go to the top of the page, if I go to shift stop and press play, you can see the play head dropping down. Show that again as it plays the note. So it's a tracker, it's dropping from top to bottom, not going across like a normal DAW does. So in arrange mode everything goes left to right, but in list mode everything comes top to bottom. So if you're not familiar with trackers, that's how they work. The oldest tracker as far as I know is LSDJ, and that's what the Dirty Wave M8 was based upon. So that delete thing, if I press this note here, if I press delete, that note's now gone. Can I undo that? Incidentally, this play button, it plays the note that's selected. It doesn't play the note where the playhead is. The playhead's on this note here, this kick drum, but it's the one that's got the red box round that plays when you press the play button. Now I can move from note to note with the data dial like that. That's fine. Now if you press the single arrow buttons, now if there's two notes in one position, so if you look down here you've got this snare and bass drum. See how it dropped from 4 to 6 because the note that's on event 5 and 6 is in the same place, so it takes two presses to move that past there. See, this is a note symbol. Both those notes are on 001, 02, 00. So bar 1, beat 2. So it takes two presses to get past that. If I hold shift and stop, I'm right at the beginning here, but the song pointer, if you like, is on the second event because I've got two events on that very first bar beat tick, isn't it? And then I press down, or press right if you like, then it drops down. But it doesn't sound the note, you notice. The only way of sounding the note is to play the sequence or press the play button. So from left to right, we've got the number of the event, so number 1, number 2, number 3, just numbered from top to bottom. So here we see it's a note and it's here. Okay, bar 1, beat 1 right at the beginning. If I move over to here, this is the actual note I'm playing, which is MIDI note 36. The length of the note is 33. You can change the length as long as the box is around it with the data dial or the plus or minus buttons. There's your MIDI channel, all in one at the moment. The velocity of the note is in gold, and notice if I crank that right up, that will change to, I said gold, it's really orange, it's gone to red now because it's maximum 127. So high velocity levels are red, medium are kind of orange, and low velocity is yellow, see? Then you've got modulation types here. It's on tuning course, okay, and I could put a value in here, change the tuning by +4. Now if I go back to here and I change that to another item like cutoff and change the value, now when that note plays, it will play at that value for the cutoff, but it'll also play at that value for the tuning course. So it's not just one value, you can set loads of things here. Absolutely brilliant. Probability, fairly obvious. At the moment it's going to play all the while. I could turn that down. Try a ratchet on that. So lots of things you can change in this menu here. If you use the double arrows, then it will jump in bars. Now it's jumped off the page there, of course. So I'll come back to there. Now, of course, if you get the red box round this time and you rotate the timing there, then obviously you'll change the time of the note. Be careful with this because obviously if you make the timing later than the one below, then those notes will swap places. If you hold shift, you get a massive jump, and that's jumped all the way down now. So I would counsel not using the shift button. Let's just try one down here, and you can see the values going up. The tick is going 76, 77, 78. So you'll move that note later and later and later. You just have to experiment with that to see what you want. It's a great way, like I said, of forensically changing the timing, the length of the note itself, the velocity. You can really go in, drill right in and change loads and loads of things there. But if nudge is not turned on, then just rotating the data dial will just move the selected note up and down. So if you get your note, press nudge, then you can change the position of it like that, see? Now obviously the view here is set at notes at the moment. If I rotate the data dial or just push down, I can choose all these different views. So I could choose to see all the aftertouch, and that's just the aftertouch. And there's a fair amount that I put in when I recorded that. Didn't really realise that just by pressing those pads. What else is there? Probably not much else we're going to see there. Maybe MPCe, I probably did some stuff there. Yes, I did. You see by moving my fingers on the pads. So really, really good, isn't it? The one to get used to, first of all, is the notes. You only see the notes. If you have all, then you can see there, you've got all that aftertouch, pad exposition, etc. before I even played a note down there. See, it got to event 10 before it even registered an actual note. All this stuff before was aftertouch. The X position on the pad, the Y position. That's why I think notes is probably a better view. As you move the song pointer with the right arrow, keep your eye on the bars, beats and ticks at the top, and that will be changing as well, as will the progress bar, the red progress bar. Now, you only get all these columns when you're in the drum view, so if I come out of this for a moment, go to main and turn that solo off. So if I go to synth bass and go to this view, list edit, notice there's no modulation type or value here. If I go to all, we do get modulation type and value for aftertouch, but not for notes, you see, so there's less information there. and there's some stuff for the MPCe, but notes on plugins don't have a modulation type, and consequently there's no value either. And obviously if I come to an audio track like this, okay, and I go to list edit, it doesn't work. Obviously it's not going to work for an audio track. I mean, it's fairly straightforward really, isn't it? But I think it's very useful. I like this sort of thing. I like to, if I've got a problem with a track and I can't quite figure out what it is, this is a great way of doing it, I think. Anyway, that's the end of this video. If you got something from it, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. If you'd like to give me a bit of a helping hand financially here on YouTube with what I do, then please give me a small donation. You can do it on YouTube, or preferably do it on my website, which is www.daddylongles.com. Thank you very much for watching, and you'll hear from me very soon, I'm sure. Bye now.